Newark to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
Ebro, Laura Rosenberg, Newark, New Jersey. Pay attention. It's time to vote. Ras Baraka, obviously the mayor, the favorite, and the incumbent, but he's partnered up with our friend DJ Do It All. You know him as Dupre Kelly, Councilman Dupre Kelly, running for the West Ward councilman. How you guys doing today?
Good. Glad to be on.
Now, Mayor Baraka, how did it come to you and Dupre Kelly sharing a ballot together?
Well, I've known Dupre for a long time in the city of Newark, just doing activist work and community work that I was doing, and ran across him along those periods. There's a picture of us that I keep talking about that when I was bringing two blocks together that were beefing in the community when I was doing activist work. In the background, you see a young rapper, with a hood on. Is Dupre Kelly was Do It All, who was helping out during that time period. So he's always been a fixture in this community, particularly the West Ward, doing the work. We didn't always wind up together, on my political movement going forward and what he was doing. But, as God would have it, we crossed paths in that area, and we were blessed to get him on our ticket.
Now, Dupre, DJ Do It All, as many out maybe outside of Newark know you.
Hey, you gotta,
Dupre
DJ
Kelly,
Do It All
councilman.
is another guy though. You gotta, this Do It All.
You're adding a DJ to Do It All.
DJ Do It All.
Yeah, no, my bad. But Dupre, talk about the ways in which your initiatives align with Mayor Ras Baraka and the things you also want to push Ras Baraka to be better on and maybe more progressive on.
I just believe like we are sons of Newark, and when I say that we're sons of Newark, Ebro, you know me. Every time you see me, I've always represented Newark, New Jersey in a big way on every platform that I had, whether it was music, whether it was acting, or whatever it was. I always represented my city in the same way that Trader Truth holds down Texas and Nipsey held down LA and Killer Mike does in Atlanta. I've always done that for my city, and the mayor, before he was the mayor, he's always done the same thing. He's done it from a poet platform and like he said, an activist and an advocate platform. And we've always been in line with our city because we love our city. But now politically, it just lined up that, we have the same ideals of pushing the city forward. And we've met several times and we've discussed several things about the city, and he felt like I could be a part of his team and help push this, my team, the West Ward forward and the city of Newark forward.
Newark, New Jersey, pay attention. May 10th is the day. Next week, the voting takes place. Now, Ras, do you have any opponents as far as mayor? I only know about Ras Baraka. That's all I see. That's all I hear.
Yeah, there's one other person that's in the race, as well. But we out here working. We gonna work like we running against 50 people, like we running against the entire Democratic Party or the entire Republican Party. We running hard.
There you go.
I also noticed recently there was a big story about you, Ras Baraka. You guys opened up the Pathways to Housing Center. Can you talk more about that? That was recently happened over in Newark, New Jersey.
Right? Is that you talking about the Queen Latifah project?
Yeah, that was the one where you was helping homeless people. It says Mayor Ras Baraka opened the Miller Street Pathways to Housing
Center. Okay. Yes, sir.
Miller Street.
Yes, sir. That's us. We renovated an old school and we turned it into a 24-hour, 365 homeless shelter, low barrier shelter for all folks, people who normally can't get into regular shelters, with everything from drug rehabilitation to transitional housing help to mental health issues and social workers. So we provide everything in that space, just trying to really improve the quality of spaces that our residents without addresses, as we call them, have. And we have like many more things that we're doing as it relates to that.
Dupre, talk about the West Ward and some of the priorities on the table for you as you enter office.
So for me in the West Ward, man, it's about my whole overall vision for the West Ward is revitalizing the ward. You know, we have corridors, main streams, main veins, as we call it, like South Orange Avenue, Central Avenue, 18th Avenue. We have a lot of corridors that needs revitalization, but not just brick and mortar. We also first have to revitalize the mindset of the people. You know, and we're going to do that through initiatives and programming, and we're going to by doing that, we hope to spur some economic development there, get people to want to come to Newark, want to build in Newark, want to build in the West Ward. And we're going to restore some trust by just showing up. You know, presence is powerful. So we're going to be there. We're going to be in their face. We're going to be attacking their problems, their issues, their concerns, and utilize them to help us do it. We can't do it alone. Like, I don't want anybody in the West Ward to feel like that the elected official is a Superman or Superwoman. You know, we got to get out there and do it together. And that's what we're going to push. That if they were part of Newark when its demise was happening, during its downtimes, then they should want to be a part of Newark and the West Ward during this renaissance. And I believe that this administration with Team Baraka has been really, really pushing this city forward. And it's in the results, right? So we're going to move some of those results and get some solutions happening in the West Ward.
It seems like one of the biggest challenges for all politicians, but even talking specifically about Newark, and maybe Mayor, you could speak to this, getting people to come along on the journey and be patient, because people want results yesterday. You've been able to achieve incremental results both in housing, keeping housing affordable, reducing violence in the streets, resolving issues in the streets, as well as encouraging entrepreneurialism and other things in the city. It's been incremental growth. But talk about that journey, Mayor, and keeping people in tune and patient.
Well, people have to understand that we didn't get in this place in 4 years, 8 years. This has been decades and decades of, us being undermined, our community being underutilized, underfunded, underinvested in, and sometimes deliberately. So we have to do the reverse and have a very deliberate and intentional kind of process that helps us get on our feet, invest in our own community, invest in our children, create housing. The problem is when that happens, people start to come to the city and development takes place, which drives prices up. And so on the one end, when you're experiencing success and people start to develop and invest in the city, the cost of living increases and the prices increase, rent increases. And so now you have to begin to create policies that keep rents stable, that don't price people out, that you create affordability in property, try to mitigate those efforts. So you really have to do both things at the same time while fighting crime. So we have to fight crime and at the same time make sure the police have a better relationship with the community. So our role as elected officials in cities like Newark, like New York, like Philadelphia, like Cleveland, we have a huge responsibility because we always got to fight both sides of the coin. We got to fight for development and affordability at the same time. Fight to reduce violence and make sure the police aren't abusing people at the same time. So we have to deal with all of that.
Are you getting support from Governor Murphy at the state level? You feel like you're supported?
Yeah, I think that, all throughout the pandemic, I was always saying I'm so grateful that I'm in New Jersey and not in like Florida or Georgia and all these places where the governors have been like really wild in terms of, dealing with the local elected officials, man, that we had a sane governor that was at least supportive of the things, even though if we didn't agree completely, he was at least supportive of the work that we were trying to do. And he's still supportive of that work in all areas, obviously. And we're going to push as much as we possibly can. But I'm happy that we have Governor Murphy.
And soon to be Councilman Dupre Kelly.
That's right.
You have a chance to talk to Mayor Ras Baraka right now. What do you want Ras Baraka to support you in? What are those meetings going to be about when you get this job and you say, Mayor, this is what I need your support in the West Ward? What are those items?
You know what? I have to be honest with you, bro. Even with me, I run a nonprofit organization called 211 Community Impact. And I have to be honest with the mayor. See, we have a type of mayor in Newark, New Jersey that's one of us. He's of us. he doesn't feel like a system mayor or the man's mayor. You know, the mayor's told me, even with my nonprofit, look, as long as you follow the process, as long as you follow the protocols, whatever we need done to improve and move our city forward, come to me. Let's talk about it. If it makes sense, he will do it. So if he will do that for me, just, you know, being a guy who was an executive director of a nonprofit, imagine what he's going to do when I be able to bring some of the issues from our ward, the ward that I grew up in, the ward that Redman grew up in, the ward that Rod Digger grew up in. This is the ward that I have the opportunity to govern where I grew. So when I bring some of those issues and concerns, he's already shown me. As long as it makes sense, as long as it follows the protocol, he's with it if it's going to move our city forward. And that's what I love about him.
Newark, New Jersey, make sure you get out there and vote. May 10th, Ras Baraka and Dupre Kelly is the ticket. They've joined the program. Thank you guys for always supporting us too, man. I appreciate y'all.
And Dupre, if you win, will we get a Lord Jazz DJ'd party for the victory?
When we win, I've already spoke to Meth. I've already spoke to Red. You know, we got to talk to Chief of Staff, Mitty Baraka, about that, because he got something that he want to do. But I have a lot of people hitting my phone. Rosenberg, you know, we're gonna have a great victory party, man. We're gonna claim it. We put in a long time. I've been campaigning for over a year and a half. So we deserve to have a great.
I mean, in some ways, it feels like you've been campaigning for 5 years. You know, you've been putting in the work, man. So we wish you the best.
Yeah, I guess campaigning never stops, Tom Rosenberg.
Yep.
But you know, we still got to May 10th to get it in, so we're not gonna take anybody for granted. And you know, it's gonna be a blessing, man, to be able to throw up that V on May 10th, man. So, you know, you know what type of arts. Look, the mayor's a poet. We both come from that vibe of hip hop. So every celebration is gonna be beautiful.
There's gonna be bars, is what you're saying. There's gonna be bars.
Bars.
Bars
luck,
will
guys.
be spit. Thanks a lot,
Good
fellas.
luck, guys.
All right, y'all.
Thank you, guys.
Take care.